Look at me, I'm a static advertisement. Pretty convincing, right? You totally would have clicked on that if you saw me on Instagram, right? I don't know. Anyway, here at Motion, we love challenging our assumptions. And in this video, we're gonna go against the grain and ask, is it possible to build an 8-figure DTC brand without any video ads, just using static image advertisements instead? The founders of Avi bootstrapped their health and wellness brand to $40 million in 40 months with pretty much entirely static image ads, as you probably guessed. They went from 200,000 in sales to 5 million in the early days, and they didn't even really start video tests until like year 3. So let's take a look at their playbook for crafting and scaling static performance creatives that not only capture attention, but convert that attention into sales for 2024 and beyond. Chapter 1, Static versus Video, the benefits of static. There are 3 major benefits to sticking with static images. The first is statics give you speed. Videos are slower to make, and they include a lot of complexity, especially with managing the creators, the back and forth with editors, the tweaks you want to make to each video. With statics, you can ship new creative basically every week with little to no dependencies whatsoever. Second is that statics are cheaper. If a video creative flops, you've both lost time and money, a lot of money. And because of how inexpensive they are, you can create a lot of them. So this gives you a lot more volume, a lot more bang for your buck, especially if you're using AI image creation. And lastly, statics can actually turn into video content. Yep, if you want them to. You can take your top performing static images, send them over to UGC creators or customers, and give it a go with some video testing in the future. Chapter 2, Squeezing diversity out of your static ads. The first step to creating high-performing static ads is by doing an audit of all of the creatives in your ad accounts. Look to see if you have lo-fi versus polished ads, emotional benefits versus rational benefits, different types of messaging for different parts of the sales funnel. With Avi, they realized that a lot of their videos looked pretty much all the same, so they went all in on static and decided that no 2 ads should ever look the same. The ads they were creating were entirely different, so they were hitting different audiences at different stages of the buying journey. Here is a graphic of what true creative diversity looks like. Look at it in all its beautiful, wonderful glory. Look at it. On the vertical axis, you have the spectrum from static to video, and on the horizontal one, you have polished to lo-fi. And in each quadrant, you have 4 different creatives you can come up with. This is ideally what your creative mix should look like. And if you're leaning too far into one quadrant, start filling in those gaps until you've balanced out your matrix of content. Chapter 3, Types of static ads to run and static ad teardowns. Okay, here are 8 static ad formats that helped Avi hit 40 million in sales. Lifestyle banner ad, a UGC banner ad, a render banner ad, a review ad, a community ad, us versus them, problem versus solution, and a news or media call out. Okay, now we're gonna run through 2 different ad examples and share some of the teardowns and tips that the co-founders of Avi actually gave us during a recent live streaming event, and you can grab that link to that event in the description below. First up is this ad that actually we've been running on LinkedIn for a few weeks, and here's how Ankit and Ash would rework it. First, they wanted us to bump up the size of the font of that headline and reduce the word length, really telling us to pay attention to visual information hierarchy and how important that is. So a bigger, shorter headline that hits people right away. We actually kicked around spreadsheet killer as that headline. Next, we were like, let's bump up the font size on those benefits as well. Negative space is great, but there's definitely some room to make sure those benefits are easier to read on mobile. And then lastly is we should do something about that logo. Putting logos on ads can be a bit redundant because your profile logo is already going to be beside the ad when somebody's scrolling in the feed anyway. So really, their biggest tip is just challenge a designer's inclination to make everything look balanced and beautiful, because that strategy tends to create ad blindness in the social feeds for your audience. This next ad actually came in from Gray Matter Labs, who shared that their ad was working really well. So shout out to Jim Phillips and Gray Matter. They had some other statics that were conforming to best practices, but this ad performance kind of surprised everyone here because it's messy. It's a lot to take in. So the lesson again is audience is going to often break our expectations. So take a look at what an audience is going to find that makes sense to them. Ash and Ankit recommended an iteration, maybe with fewer callouts, some larger fonts to help mobile scrollers read it easier. But again, it all depends on your audience. Okay, well there you have it, the static ads playbook for 2024. And while videos are definitely awesome, static ads can get you faster feedback loops, more creative diversity, at a fraction of the cost. So for brands in their early stages looking to build up that paid engine quick and cheap, there's definitely an argument for putting more emphasis on improving your static game.